Why did the Renaissance actually begin in the countryside? Most people picture bustling Florence, but the story starts among wheat fields and farmhouses. Stay with me for 3 minutes and we'll follow Luca, a curious historian with a sketchbook, as he uncovers how the thriving farm economy and its finance fed the Medici's banks and sparked the great cultural rebirth. Luca rides his horse to a golden wheat field outside Florence. He watches peasants loading grain onto carts and hears that the city's booming economy in the late 13th century was built on this very harvest. The Medici family, already powerful, used that wealth to sponsor artists. But how did simple grain become the cash that fed their banks? Back in Florence, Luca flips open a ledger in the Medici bank. He learns the family turned the surplus from those farms into loans, creating a financial engine that poured money into workshops. Finance, the key factor, sparked new art and science. Yet the question remains, how did that money reach the painter's brushes? Luca follows a trail of letters from a Florentine workshop to a distant farm. The Medici had set up a credit system. They advanced money to artists, while farms repaid loans with future harvests. This direct link turned rural surplus into commissions, letting the Renaissance spread beyond Italy. But how did this model travel across Europe? Luca opens a weather-worn manuscript, tapping a quill as he reads Dante's verses and Petrarch's sonnets. Those poems revived a love for humanity and nature, urging painters to capture real life. Yet poetry alone could not buy pigments. The same finance that built Medici banks turned ideas into commissions. How did that money jump from ledgers to artists? Turning the page, Luca spreads a map of Europe, tracing arrows from Florence to England, France, Germany, Spain, and Portugal. Medici agents opened branches in each capital, copying the Florentine credit model and letting rural wealth flow into distant workshops. The art bloom spread like wildfire, but could this network last forever? Finally, Luca stands between a bustling city skyline and a quiet farm, realizing the truth. The Renaissance ignited in Florence's streets, not the fields, even though farm surplus fed the Medici's banks. The countryside supplied the cash, but the city supplied the spark. So why do we still picture the countryside as the birthplace? Why did the Renaissance actually begin in the countryside? Because the booming farms around Florence created the wealth that powered the city's economy, letting the Medici pour money into artists. That finance spark ignited a cultural wave in Florence, then swept across Italy and all of Europe. So the countryside surplus was the hidden engine of the Renaissance. That's the whole story, at a glance. Now, draw me the world.